So here's another long theory word to decode. Syncopation. What is it? What does it sound like? And what does it want from me? If that's your questions, apart from the last one, then watch on, because I'm going to explain everything. Once again, these really long words break down into really simple concepts when you think about it and actually know what they mean. So syncopation just means playing on offbeats, essentially stressing parts of the bar that you normally wouldn't stress. For example, if I was to say to you, counting in 4/4, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the natural way round. If I was to include syncopation in that, I would say something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and suddenly that sounds weird. Whereas the first one didn't sound weird; it just said it sounded like I was counting. So obviously, if you want to sound weird and maybe interesting, then this is the kind of thing you want to use. But you can also use it in things like a kind of a heavy blues riff, where your expectation of what's going to happen isn't quite what's going to happen. So it creates tension and makes it sound cooler. For example, here is a riff without any syncopation. And now let's do that same riff with syncopation and playing on the offbeats. So what this really is we're playing with what you would expect. So you're expecting stuff to be dead on the beat, and then as soon as we try and... you're a bit sort of put out because it's not what you've expected. You're expecting it to be there, but it's not there. So this creates tension and interest in your solos or rhythm playing. You can also use it to sound just funky or reggae. There are essentially two types of syncopation. When you're playing before you're supposed to, or before what's expected, or when you're playing afterwards. So playing before is called anticipation. So you're anticipating the beat in your playing, and playing afterwards is suspension. So you're holding a chord, suspending a chord for longer than it should be, or suspending a note for longer than it should be. So, for example, you can use these ideas to create a nice kind of rock groove. You can also use this in your lead playing, where you play an odd number of notes to what you expect. So say you're doing 4 notes per click, that's your speed, but you decide to play maybe a 3-note sequence over this and repeat it. You can also try 4-note sequences over triplets, because again that's not going to quite fit into the beat. So we've got triplets, da, 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 da. That's our triplet rhythm, 3 notes per beat. Then try playing something with 4 notes in it. So da 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 da. We get this weird mix of different note lengths, and that's a great way to include syncopation into your soloing. Especially, and this is probably most important, if you emphasize the 1 note out of the 3. So if you've got, again, 3-note pattern over 4 notes per beat, you emphasize every 3 notes. So when you play that first note of that pattern, you emphasize it. So you're putting stress on every 3 notes, but you've got 4 notes per beat. Sounds really complicated, but once you get the feel of it, it's easy to do. Alright, so I hope that explains what syncopation is, in case you were wondering. If you've got any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit the like button and share it with all your friends. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. If you go to my website, chainsawguitartuition.net, you can get in contact for one-on-one guitar lessons over Skype or webcam. And until then, turn up and rock out. Hey guys, this is Rob, your online guitar teacher. Now, guitar harmonies are used in lead lines by bands such as Triplet Syncopation or Iron Maiden. They're used in the rhythm parts of some earlier Metallica stuff, and also in some thrashy and similar bands.